Sitting on a park bench one day, you came down and sat next to me. You had my heart fluttering, baby, like a pair of butterfly wings. I seemed to talk for hours about everything we knew. And when you went away, baby, Lord, right then I knew that there's only one woman for me. You showed me things I'd never seen. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. There's only one woman for me. It's been 2 years, baby. Oh, you're standing there. I see the love in your eyes, wind blowing through your hair. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, the love is shared. And I knew in my heart, baby, none would ever compare. And there's only one woman for me. You show me things I've never seen. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. We talk for hours, made love on the beach. You are my dream, my only fantasy. Then one summer day, my darling, you went away. You flew up to heaven, you see, got your own pair of wings. Though it broke my heart, I remember everything you taught. There would never be another woman that could mend his heart. And there's only one woman for me. You show me things I've never seen. Whoa, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. You show me things I've never seen. Whoa, baby, you drive me crazy. And there's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me. There's only one woman for me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. I gotta sit up.
I was gonna say, you look like you're kind of lounging around.
Relax. Welcome to the show. I am exhausted. I've been talking since 9 o'clock. A lot of stuff we did today.
Why is that any different than any other day?
Because it's the back.
I feel like it's Passover. Manish Tana Halayla has. Why is this night different?
Hamala, ha. What is that?
Oh, it's today, Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday? Yes. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to our Midday show hump day, as Katie says.
Hump day, boy. I got humped by a camel.
Hump day, and I'll say that too loud. Look at this great artwork behind us. I am so excited. This amazing artist, Carlos Scott, brought us some new pieces yesterday. He's got some other pieces that went up to Pub in the Hub, which is Saturday night up in Delray Beach.
You can't pronounce pub in the hub.
Pub at the
fast.
Hub.
Yeah, but you say
Pub in the Hub. Pub in the Hub.
I'm
You
like,
say it.
ever since you started doing this, like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Pub at the Hub. Pub
at the Hub.
Pub
There's
at the
an
Hub.
At?
Or
Pub at the Hub.
Pub at the Hub.
This Saturday.
This Saturday,
At what time?
7.
7 o'clock. Pub at the Hub. I saw some of the works in there. We got a few artists in there.
We do. I think Ken Bieberman's going to be there. Jay Harmon is there. Carlos Scott is there. 25 artists. Pub at the Hub. It's at the Hub at Space of Mind, right across the street from Old School Square. It is a huge event. Music, 10 restaurants, food, cooking. Take a look around the school. Raffles. All the artwork is for sale. We're going to be there doing some live interviews, some photo shoots, get some information out. It is an amazing
You left the most important part.
opportunity. I'm leaving it for you.
Eating.
Actually, I was waiting for you to bring up this kitchen that they're opening up.
Yes. That kitchen ain't going to be ready.
I know.
But my goodness, is going to have food in the premises?
10 restaurants.
Are going to be in the premises? 10 restaurants.
10 restaurants. Each classroom is going to have a restaurant.
Just that alone, you should come up and have a little tasty.
So get your tickets. You can go to your CCP for Community Classroom Project.org. Get your tickets. Also, you can go to Eventbrite and put in Pub at the Hub. Get your tickets there. Thank you. He's going to turn that down because my eyes are like, woo, I'm a little overlit.
You're a little overlit. Keep
Thank you
turning
very
it
much
down.
for that.
Keep going down. You ain't even turn
But
it
come on
off.
up, join the fun, get your tickets online. Tickets are $150. All proceeds go back to benefit this community classroom kitchen project. This kitchen, we went again yesterday. It's going to be a full production kitchen. So anyone in the community can go out, use this kitchen, do cooking shows, demonstrations, bring the kids out, because you know, cooking brings families together. All cultures, all races, all people, everyone has to eat. Food is the great equalizer.
And that's like a $10 a restaurant for a tasting. That's cheap, if you think about it.
Right.
Atlantic Avenue is full of restaurants.
It's kind of like a food crawl if you think about it that
It's
way.
a food crawl for $15 a piece. And by the end of the night, you'll be...
Full.
Listen, I know you guys, you go to Costco and you do the food crawl. I've seen guys take women on dates in the food crawl. And they go to all these little places and try this and try... They don't care how many times you try it.
The food crawl.
A food crawl.
That's what we should call it. We should tell our hashtag food
The
crawl.
food crawl?
Go from room to room to room. But what they offer at this school, it is a homeschool educational concept for kids from the ages of first grade through 12th grade. It is a small, intimate type of setting, but the school, 10,000 square feet of school for these kids. And if you are a unique learner like everybody is, you got to check out this school at Space of Mind.
Check it out. We've had a busy week.
It's only
We've had
Wednesday,
Space of Mind. I'm
Okay.
exhausted. Space of Mind. We had Mr. Baseball in the house. We talked sports.
which was great on Monday.
Well, hopefully we're going to push to get that stadium built for kids, and we're going to be there. We're going to do some live shows from there as well, sports shows. I'm excited as hell for that. We had this morning. Jody talking to.
Jody Glaser was in talking about elder care and all the things that are important for Morse Life. Morse Life is now working on getting some new certifications to advance from palliative care onto some other, I can't really release the information yet, but Morse Life is such a beautiful facility right here in Palm Beach Gardens, North Palm Beach, isn't it?
North Palm Beach.
Check it out. It's amazing. They offer all kinds of services, art therapy, music therapy, dance therapy. They've got apartments for your loved ones. It is the creme de la creme, as they say, but a lot of great services. They talked about the difference between palliative care and hospice care, which I didn't realize the differences. There's different licensing, different funding through Medicare, and Morse Life is working on some new opportunities.
So check out that show. That's on Yellow Amp if you want to see the show. We may be playing it on the radio because the information that they did is so vital that I think we should push it out there. But we got some other exciting news.
But you know what I really liked about what Jody does and what Melissa does also? Not only do they share the information, is they will meet with families and they will meet with your physicians and they will meet with your parents, your grandparents that need the assistance, kind of walk you through the process, because the process gets very muddled and overwhelming. I'm in the middle of going through it now. You unfortunately didn't go through it because your parents were in PR.
No, I went through it when they were in New York, and
But-
I was in New York.
But not about changing home placement and different cares. Your
No, but
parents
I had-
aged in place at home.
Yeah, but I had different problems.
Yeah.
My home is like to go to the hospital, you got to have like a plane. So it's a different problem. But yes, and they addressed the problems. That's what we talked about with them.
Right.
And they fixed the problems, like with mom and dad having a 5,000 square foot house. And
They help. They're going to work out some options and opportunities. There's a lot of things that every community has in South Florida. So tune into the show. You can find it streaming. You can also find it hopefully on the radio on True Oldies on Monday night. So we're going to get that out. But in February, you got some big news happening.
yes, now you ever look up at the sky and you go, what is that? And it's a flying saucer.
A bird, a plane, Superman.
When I was in Puerto Rico, I lived in the mountaintop, and I was there with all my friends, and they went and they got binoculars because we saw this object, this shiny object, and it disappeared. It wasn't no helicopter. Now, I've never said this to anybody because I get that look. But we have Russ Johnson, good friend of the show.
Hey, Colleen, we were just wondering how you were doing. Love you and love your show. Gosh, we do miss you, Colleen.
Well, when she gets a little better, we're going to put her on the air,
Good.
and we're going to have CC and everything else. I'm just trying to stay out of their hair because she got to heal. And I know that CC wants to do stuff, but we got to make sure if she's feeling up to it and he's feeling up to it, we'll do what we said we're going to do with Cafe Nitrate. So I'm looking at this shiny object and it disappears. So Russ Johnson, who's a good friend of the show, we've known Russ almost 10 years now. You realize that? Almost 10 years.
Wow. Been a long time.
He's bringing back Lights in the Night. Now, I did this a few years ago, and then I did it again, and he's bringing it back for the third hurrah. And Teddy's going to be the co-host on this show as well. He's going to be on Monday nights at 8 o'clock. So it's going to be fun. And then who comes on after Russ Johnson?
I don't know who comes on after Russ
I don't know.
Johnson.
No, not
We're
on
going to
Monday.
see.
On Thursday.
On Thursday night, a new show on Thursday night. It's called Meet the Experts. A new show coming out with Mike Velarde. He had a show with us during the political season, and he worked with a lot of great candidates on that. And he decided he kind of missed doing the business, getting back into TV and radio. So a new show, Meet the Experts, everything from politics, economics, family, community, a lot of healthcare.
Chiropractors. We're going to have
So
a chiropractor
actually, why don't you ask
first.
him for tomorrow night?
You know, something that's a good idea.
You never know.
You never
but
know.
both starting the first week in February, so some new shows. Getting better each day, and I start therapy next week. Fantastic.
Perfect. Good, good.
So we
'cause
need
we
to
need
hear.
you back. We need you. If not on here, we need you on the screen, Colleen. And then we switch some shows. We have You and Your Doctor, and we have
Laura,
Laura
Making Money
on
with Laura Sanders on
Thursday
Thursday nights.
now, not Tuesday anymore. So we're going to have them tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
I'm more confused. And where's JC's show?
JC is next Thursday at 7:30.
Next Thursday. JC would be.
No, I'm sorry, she's tomorrow.
And she's tomorrow.
Yes, JC is tomorrow at
That's what I
7:30.
thought.
Yes. So you've got All County, then you have Making Money with Laura Sanders, and then you have the JC Dreesen Show. The evening kicks off with Editor's Desk at 5:30 and Gina Bella. So it's a full Thursday.
We got 6 shows going on tomorrow.
So a full Thursday.
I'm exhausted.
So let me tell you what I did last night while you stayed and worked. I went to a networking event.
And I had 20 kids in here.
So I went to an event, 100 plus women who care.
How many?
Their goal is for 100 women.
How many
There were
they
not
got?
100 women there. There are about 35 women there. They've got a lot of members that do it virtually. This concept is amazing. You meet once a quarter. This way, everyone's working, everyone's empowered, everyone's doing what they do. It's $100 a quarter donation to this group. And every quarter, where your $100 goes to, you vote on a charity. And all of the money that gets donated by these 60, 70, 80, 100 women goes to the charity.
But who selects the charity?
It gets voted on by the board members at the meeting every quarter. So last night's winner went to SOS Children's Village. And then a couple weeks until they close out their money. So you can always join and your monies go to SOS Children's Village, but it gets better. Home Depot Foundation has a matching grant. For every dollar that goes, 15% they match. So they give it a couple weeks. So the group, 4 kids that we met last week at Pastor Bill's event, they won last quarter. They got a check for almost $9,000.
Wait a minute. The kids that were in the studio?
No, the woman I met last week at Pastor Bill's event. The kids that were in the
You
studio,
make it sound like it's one woman. You went 100 women over there.
I don't know if you met them. So 4 kids won for last quarter, and they were presented this check last night for $8,800. And
Wow.
that was not the Home Depot 15%.
Wow.
That was the money raised. Exactly. So 88 women, right? $100.
So they're going to match 15% of the 88?
And that separate check comes from the Home Depot Foundation for that.
So that's 15. Half of it is another $1,200?
It's nice, right?
That's impressive.
So
So they're going to make $10,000 on this
So
thing.
SOS Children's Village was
Very cool.
selected for this quarter's winner, so you can still get your monies in if you want to support these great charities in our community. Really nice things. And the funny thing was, all these women were there, and a lot of them we had the opportunity to interview. So we had Changing Spaces, which was in, and where they take a home for a child with cancer, and they redo
I
it.
remember that.
And she says to me, Peggy Peterson came up and she said, do you know how many phone calls I got from the radio station when I was on the show?
I
that people
remember that.
supported and did that. So she was there. Tomorrow's Rainbow was there with Abby Mosier.
I remember that
So what
too.
they're going to start doing is they're going to start taking their horses. She wanted to bring one here to the studio.
She should have. I need a massage.
A horse?
Yeah.
All right. So I said we would go out to see the horses. She asked for you. What they're going to start doing is taking the baby horses, the small horses,
ponies.
to go out to help people where in their location, because not everyone can leave their house.
Now, what is you pet the horse, right? It's like pet therapy.
Yep.
And we have talked about doing something with it. You know who want to do this is Braxton. He does horses.
So I said to her, "Oh my gosh, Freddie was just talking about you last week." So she's excited. So she's going to come back in. So a lot of great organizations. I got to meet SOS Children's Village.
Are they coming on the show?
They're going to be coming on the show as
All
well.
100 women should be on the show.
So a lot of things to work
Because I want to
with.
know about all of the foundations that they want to give to and the reason why.
But not only foundations, these are great women who are in the business, whose children have grown up and looking for things to do. And then there are women that have been in finance, like Ann Bettinger, who actually introduced me to the group, and all of those great things. So it's nice to get out, but it's kind of tiring too.
And you have a monster interview coming up at 1 o'clock.
Very excited
You
about
want to
this.
let the people know what they're in store for?
Yes, we have the pleasure, thanks to Allison with Relevant Communications, to be interviewing the world-renowned artist and sculptor Alexandra Nikita. Now, she is a child prodigy since she said drawing since she was 2. 8 years old, you're going to hear her story, opened the gamut, never took painting lessons. She's a little girl, immigrated from Romania, and what she has done for global peace and everything about peace and harmony and bringing the world together, not just this country, the world together through art is remarkable. So I'm very grateful for Relevant Communications to reaching out to us to do this, because there's a great event starting this weekend at Onesimo Fine Art Gallery right on Worth Avenue in Palm Beach. You can go meet the artists January 21st and 22nd. So Saturday and Sunday. If you want to go to Palm Beach and then head down to Pub in the Hub, you can do that. Or you can do Pub in the Hub and then do this the next day. All complimentary meet and greets at the gallery, 2 to 5 p.m. both days, and I've got RSVPs. But
Where
check
is the
out
gallery?
Onesimo Fine Art. It is up on Worth Avenue. I haven't been there in a hot minute. But what a location. Her
You see,
art
things
is
are beginning
everywhere,
to percolate.
worldwide.
Well, you don't want to miss this interview because I saw the stuff you sent me. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You want to watch the segment at 1 o'clock because she's amazing.
She's incredible, but more than her talent is we do so much with spirituality and things that come to fruition here. To have this gift when you're 2, to actually be interviewed by Oprah Winfrey and Charles Osgood and Tom Brokaw when you're 8 and 9 years old. Think about this, right? Opened up the world, but where does this talent come from? She was, we always say, touched by God's pinky.
I know. That's a gift of God. Hey, is there somebody that can bring me a flyer that's on the table?
Which flyer you want? This one?
No, I want the flyer from the movie theater. But this is going to be happening today. There's 2 flyers on that table.
For the movies of Del Rey?
No, in the lobby.
foyer?
Movies of Del Rey. There are 2 things coming up that I want to let people know about. And the other thing is, if you call in 888-994-4995, Studio A, I'll give you 2 tickets to the movies of Del Rey or the movies of Lake Worth.
Thank you.
Rochelle gave me tickets to hand out, and I'm happy to do that. Now, I don't think I've even shared this with you.
No?
This is Movies of Del Rey. It's $15 at the door. Starts at 7:30 on Wednesday, January 25th.
Next Wednesday, okay.
They're gonna have beer and wine there. They renovated the Movies of Del Rey.
Did they?
They did. Looks really nice. And they're gonna have these comedians. Host David Sadman is gonna be there. Jim Patterson is gonna be there. Carl Remy is gonna be there, and Nadeem Awad is gonna be there. These are comedians, and they're going to be at the Movies of Del Rey. It starts at 7:30. God only knows how long it's gonna go.
Thank you.
So meet us there.
Speakeasies. Doors open at 7.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then this is an assignment that I'm going to give G-Man. This is an animated film collector.
What's
February-
that say on there? Does it say?
Trio Tods.
I was wondering what that was. Is that 2 words or one?
It's 2 different words.
Is it Treal or Trio?
Trio, Trial. I don't know. We'll call them in. Celebration of Black excellence, past, future, and present. He's an artist, animation film collector, because I know that our kids, we have an animation department. I should have given this to the animation department to call him
You still
and bring
can.
him in.
Yeah.
This is an amazing work of art they're going to have at the Movies of Del Rey on February 4th at 7:30.
That looks like the movies at Lake Worth.
How do you know that? Oh,
Because
yeah,
it
it
says
is
it
the
at the
Movies of
bottom.
Lake Worth. How do you know that?
Because
It
says at
is.
the bottom.
Movies of Lake Worth. So you got to go Movies of Lake Worth. Starts at 7:30, then the movie starts at 8. The tickets, adults are $10, and students are $7. But I want him to come in here and highlight what he does, and I told her that we would ask him to come. Also, I'm going to try and see if I could get Leslie Jock to talk to him.
Why, is he from Haiti?
He's from Haiti. He's from Haiti, and I hear that his works are amazing.
Nice. Got to reach out to a lot of people. We got a lot of people to reach out to.
Lots.
A
And
lot
also,
of people to reach out to, things to do.
I like to
What else
do
you got?
another night at the movies. We have a new segment that's called Let's Go to the Movies. This week is a man called Otto. You didn't see it yet, did you?
Mm-mm.
A man called Otto. Check it out.
Movie pick of the week?
Movie pick of the week. I think it's going to be movie of the year. The movie is unbelievable. There's an old saying that your heart, as big as it could be, can kill you. And you know what I mean when you see this thing. But you got to see it. Tom Hanks is in it. It's a simple movie. I get it, man. But wow, it has so much meaning. It's about mental anguish, mental health. It's a lot about a lot of things. Go and see it. Movies of Del Rey has it. Check it out. Let's go to the movies. I got to do a piece. I got to do a little.
Do you think
intro.
life is simple, or do you think we make it complicated?
No, we complicate the hell out of it.
But it doesn't have to be?
No, if you can find a way of paying your bills, you know, like having electricity, having a phone, having stuff complicates it. But when you call up and you say disconnect everything, it ain't complicated no more. Watch the movie. Watch the movie. He does all this. He goes down, he answers some questions that we all have and are afraid to ask.
Do you think as we age, and I say this as your elder over here, you're my elder.
I'm the elder now.
As you age, things change. You can simplify life
100%.
different than you thought when it was younger.
100%.
You look at things differently now.
I'm going to tell you how different it is. The way people walk has a different meaning to it. You can see a pep in the step, or you can see really, really hardship. You can see belief, and you can see disagreement. Everything changes when you get a little bit older. When you're 21 and you're on a fast track and you're invincible, doesn't happen when you hit 60. Everything different, and everything matters. Everyone matters.
If you knew then what you know now,
I would do
what
things
would you
so
do?
differently.
Would you?
Absolutely.
What would you tell your younger self?
Listen, listen, and listen some more. Because we do too much talking, we don't do enough listening. When people are hurting, they're not going to tell you, I'm hurting. You got to read it, got to see it, and let them talk to you, not you talk to them. You got kids at home that have issues. Let them talk to you. Not as your buddy, because if you're his parent, you're his parent, but because they believe that you're going to help them resolve it from within, not you resolve it for them. So I would do a lot of things differently. A lot. I mean, I joke around about divorce and all that, man. I don't wish that on nobody. Especially if you got kids. Got to find a way. Gotta find a way. You got into the soup, you can stay in the soup and float. That's my new,
I don't know about that.
That's my new way.
I don't know if you can stay in the soup and
No,
float.
if your kids are older, if they're past 20, I got
Well,
divorced.
once your kids are older.
10 and 5, 15 and 10 was tough.
I met a woman yesterday who wrote a book on narcissism behind the mask in an abusive narcissistic relationship. And the first thing she says to me is, don't judge me for staying. I said, I'm not judging you at all. We all do what we have to do.
That's right.
For different reasons for our kids. And she said when she wrote the book, she was afraid to share her story because she thought she was going to be judged by people saying he was so abusive. How did you stay? She said, I stayed for my kids. I had 3 young kids at the time, and I stayed. She said, as the book has become more popular, more people are reading it, they reach out to her and say, I'm in the similar situation. I was in the situation.
Tons,
I had to stay because of my kids. I had to stay for the finances, not because I wanted to be in the situation, but I needed to do what was best for my kids at the time.
What I don't understand about that whole behavior, if it's a man doing it, I can't talk for a woman because I don't know if it exists for a woman, but a man, is that you just sit down and you say, yo, man, what are you doing? I mean, honestly, look at life simply. You're being abusive. Oh, that's your definition. Okay, then tell me yours. Tell me your definition of abuse, because when you're mentally beating on somebody, it's time to stop that nonsense.
But what we do for our kids, it's different. So no judgment whatsoever.
And it's funny because it ain't a one-man thing, abuse. Maybe you feel abused.
And it could be women. This is not just a...
Maybe you were abused and that's what you give off. You don't know the behavior any better. Get some help.
You never know.
Get some help.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Alexandra Nikita all the way from LA. Very excited. It's going to be a fantastic interview. So
stick around. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. More to come. We'll be right back.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Mellberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Mellberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
And we're back. I am so excited. And thank you to Allison at Relevant Communications for organizing this interview all the way from LA. We've got the world-renowned artist, sculptor, Global Peace Initiative, Alexandra Nikita, joining us. And she is coming to us because she's going to be in Palm Beach starting on Saturday. This Saturday, her works are going to be at Onesimo Fine Art Gallery on Worth Avenue, all the way from starting on Sunday after Meet the Artist reception on Saturday through Tuesday, January 31st. So a great exhibit spotlighting her works of art, but oh my gosh, wait to hear the stories and everything that she is all about.
All right, let's bring her over.
So we have a little piece we're going to intro with, and then we're going to bring Alexandra over. Or not.
Why not? Or maybe.
So, tell me where your inspiration to paint comes from.
My inspiration comes from...
Did you like Picasso?
You know, I never even knew about Picasso. I didn't even know who Picasso was. I just was enjoying myself, and I started painting this way because I wanted to be different. And I wanted, you know...
When did you start painting? How old?
I started painting when I was 2, actually, in coloring books. Then at 4 and 5, I was working in
Inside the
watercolors.
lines or out?
Outside, of course.
Outside, of course. Could you tell me what the names of these paintings are?
Yes.
I'm fascinated by what you see and what we see and how you saw that.
The left one is Summer in Europe, and the right one is Sunflower Fields. And I love both of them, and I love them all.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You're an amazing child. 11. Today, Alexandra is 30 years old and a new mother. We checked in with her at her studio in Los Angeles.
Show them into the studio. Let's go. This is my studio mascot, Sophia. So this is my studio. It's in my parents' backyard. I produce majority of my work here. I'm never really into starting a piece and finishing it in one sitting. I have pieces in here actually that I've recently come across that I probably did even before I was on the Oprah show. So this was in 1994. I was 8 years old. I don't think my brother was born yet. It's crazy. Being on the show had a huge impact on my career, inevitably. I mean, the audience that you reach through TV is huge, as we all know, but especially through Oprah's show was immense. So this is a painting I started when I was 9 years old. And this was my interpretation of Pocahontas at the time, and then, you know, revisited years later. My passion for painting as a child was something that was not really understood by my peers. So I was a little bit of an outcast in that sense. I mean, did I make sacrifices? Did I make very explicit choices, you know, and choose my career over going to every single football game or going to every single school dance or every single birthday? Absolutely. Do I regret it? No. Did I get frustrated then? 100%, of course. You know, I was 16, I was 17. It's a natural feeling to feel like you're missing out on things. But I never had the feeling of being forced to do that. And I think that that's where the difference lies, is I actually made the choice for myself. The most I've ever sold a painting for, I think, is somewhere around $400,000. I have been incredibly lucky to make a very good living from my work, and not only provide for myself, but provide for my family and my extended family. And that has surely been one of the greatest gifts that I've been able to receive and also give at the same time through my career. My parents have been very dedicated to managing my work, and I think that is definitely a lot of the reason why I was able to remain grounded, because there was just so much going on at one point in my life. I mean, it would have been super easy to just fall off the edge and kind of lose sight of everything.
Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited to give you an update about our own YouTube channel. Now you can find new videos every day. They're the kind of videos that will make you look at life differently. They may even make...
That is amazing.
Spectacular, right?
400,000.
But she looks the same, right? You can see her face as a little girl, and I think I remember even seeing that interview, thinking, to be that talented.
1996. You remember that?
To be that talented is pretty remarkable.
She is. I mean, the paintings look exactly like the famous artist.
So let's see if we can bring Alexandra
if she's
over.
there.
Alexandra Nikita. See if we can get her on camera.
Yes.
Say hi. How are you?
We hear you. We don't see you.
Alexandra, are you there?
All right. Let's take a quick break. Let's see if we can get her camera up.
All right. Let's take a quick break.
Let's take a quick break. Let's see if we can get her sound.
I'm here.
Back, guys.
All right, let's bring her in. And
are
there
you?
she is.
Good afternoon for you.
Good afternoon for you. Amazing.
morning to you.
Amazing stuff. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Sorry, forgive me for my 3 dogs in desperate need of some attention here. You can hear them in the background.
Oh, not a problem.
We are so excited to have you join us. Tell us about the event. I want to start with the event that you're coming down to Palm Beach for. It starts on Sunday, but you've got to meet the artist on Saturday at Onesimo Fine Art Gallery.
Yeah, so I'm really thrilled. You know, my last exhibition before the pandemic kind of shifted everyone's life and schedules and plans was with Deb at Onesimo. We had a wonderful exhibition with a great body of work that I had been working on for a few years at that point. I had such a wonderful time, and then, you know, everything kind of halted, and here we are, thankfully, on the other side. So I'm really excited to be able to come back and come back with new paintings and new sculpture and line work on paper and just a variety of different mediums to share with everyone. But yes, I will be at the gallery on Saturday and on Sunday. And I think one of the cool things about getting this opportunity for me, and I think also for the people who are interested in the work and in my story, is this chance to actually talk to me and ask me questions in the flesh about the paintings and the ideas. And, you know, I've often found myself walking into a gallery or a museum and there being, you know, an incredible painting by whoever and going, gosh, I really wish I knew more about this, or why did they choose this, or what does this color represent in this case, or why did they name the painting that, you know? So I think it gives this great opportunity to interact with the work in a closer way. And then also for me, it's so rewarding because I'm not one of those artists that doesn't want to talk about my work or doesn't want to share the stories, behind who I am and my life and everything that I bring to what I make. I'm quite the opposite, clearly. I like talking and I love sharing. And this is a wonderful opportunity for me as well to meet with not just collectors, but anyone who's interested in the arts.
I got to tell you, I am fascinated to know how you see the world, because artists, we have a number of artists around us in our studio, and everyone has a different story, and each piece has a different story. But when I see your work, and I seen this video for the first time today, I just have to wonder, how do you see the world?
I think as a general sort of lens, I look at the world through the most like positive and optimistic lens. I can't say I have, pink colored glasses on all the time. I certainly don't. I'm pretty pragmatic and have my feet on the ground, but I do typically try to evaluate things from the glasses as, half full kind of perspective. Of course, life throws you curveballs here and there and you have to adapt. But I've been blessed and, I have this incredible platform and my working body and mind and a supportive family. And so for me, I've always had a very uplifted perception of the world. I do, when I work, talk about different issues, social issues that aren't always rainbows and butterflies, and they aren't always, pretty and warm. And so, I think just a matter of being authentic. I try to see the world as authentically as possible, even with its pain and even with all these nuances that aren't always, the happy-go-lucky kind of perspective.
But you started painting so young. I mean, outside the lines in your coloring book, as they say, at 2 years old. Did you ever realize the way you saw things in your gifted talent was different than the other kids at the time?
It was very, very clear to me that what I was making was different. Kids, I have a daughter now who's almost 8 years old and a little boy who's 16 months. Kids are, they're tough. They're a tough audience. They are not always the most inviting, and they're certainly trying to find ways to remind you that you don't fit in. In addition to my love for painting and drawing weird creatures, I'm an immigrant. I'm Romanian. I didn't speak English till I was like in first grade, kindergarten really, but not until I was about 6 years old. I always had kind of ostracized me in a way. And so by virtue of my peers, I was definitely aware of how different I was. I don't think that I looked at myself as being special or more talented or anything like that. And quite frankly, I don't think my parents paid much mind to it either until other people started bringing their attention to it and saying, oh, she's actually kind of good. And wow, she really knows how to use space. And she's not bad with lines and her use of color. And, my mom and dad at that point were just so satisfied with knowing that I had a preoccupation and that I was busy. And I was, my dad especially content that I was staying out of trouble. And so I think that it's kind of funny how naturally and sort of unexpectedly things took a turn, and really born out of this really organic and natural passion. I think interest that so many kids have, right? Like, again, referencing my own kids, I see them, like I see their friends, like kids love to color. They love to make marks, whether it's on a wall or on a paper, they enjoy expressing themselves. And that is something that is innately within most of us, I think. And then I think life just kind of jades you and starts teaching you, this is what you should be doing, and this is what you shouldn't be doing, and this is a waste of time, and this is worth it, and this is not. I was so lucky that my parents were encouraging for all the right reasons, and that was the sheer fact that I liked it and I was drawn to it, and I constantly turned to it no matter what other alternatives for entertaining myself I had. I always chose my sketchbook and my charcoals and whatever materials I had.
Right, because as kids now, and we're in Florida, they're so quick to take away the arts from our kids. But clearly, if they had taken the arts away from you, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation if your parents hadn't seen your abilities and you actually pursued and excelled everything that you see your kids trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a huge factor. Listen, moms and dads, and they want their kids to have secure and stable, consistent lives. I get it, right? I get where that comes from. It comes from the best, most pure place that I could possibly come. But I think what you end up forgetting as an adult is that these children are not, you have no ownership over them. They have their lives too and their identities too. And it's better to raise human beings who are stoked about waking up and doing what they do and excited about it because when you ensure some degree of passion, then your performance is inevitably just going to be better, right? If I woke up hating and being miserable about the concept of going to my studio, I'm pretty sure I'd be making some crappy paintings. But I think because there's this impulse inside of me, this need to do it and to say something, I've also had this like natural yearning to like continue developing my skill set and being a better craftsperson and learning and, you know, constantly growing and evolving. The education system is a really touchy subject for me, so I will try to stay clear. You know, being in California, we too have gotten gypped, impossibly gypped, particularly in the. I am fortunate enough to, you know, send my kids to private school and be able to ensure that they have access to all of these things, but it's so unjust. I've done a lot of work trying to encourage as much as I can our teachers to continue pushing even when the funding isn't there. You know, I can't tell you how many times an art teacher comes up to me and says, I don't have a budget for materials, so I've taken out of my salary to buy 20 packs of crayons and, you know, 14 notebooks and 3 canvases for the kids to collaboratively work on. And it pains me. It pains me because we've forgotten and lost sight of how important it is for people to have the choice and the opportunity to remove for themselves their feelings. This isn't about making a world filled with artists, which would be my dream world, obviously, but it's not about that. It's about giving the choice and giving the opportunity to our youth to choose and to have these outlets and, you know, ultimately tools for mediation and tools for conversation and all of these things that the arts stand for.
Well, it's unique because your children get to learn from a creator that you started young and you've grown and you've developed in your creativity, and they get to drink from that as they get older. And, you know, there's nothing more rewarding than to be given the freedom to be yourself. And it's okay to do even the arts. I am fascinated by artists. I mean, we're surrounded by works of art from so many different people. But your work of art, it exemplifies the person that you are. And I think that the secret here is that your kids are going to learn that as they grow up and go. And when they have their children, I mean, you're talking about works of art that Oprah doesn't just pick you because she wants to pick you. I mean, it's a unique situation.
But they call you the voice of peace, right? At 15, you are named Global Peace Ambassador and 15 years old for the world by the United Nations. Why peace? Because you could have been an artist as a child and you could have painted and created your sculptures as an artist with your great characters, right, that you have behind you. But yet you went bigger and peace became your outlet, your voice, your words. What about that is so important to you?
Well, I think that the duty and the responsibility of any artist is big. I don't take it lightly. I have not only what I see as a talent and an ability to communicate visually, but also a platform, right? Over all of these years, almost a 30-year career, which is insane to say, given I'm only 37. I have really found a very sort of cozy seat in this duty and sort of responsibility that I feel to be more than just my own personal diary, right? That's super important to me, and that's how I think heal, and that's sort of my form of therapy. It's really cathartic for me to be able to storytell personal things and kind of be like the egomaniac artist, if you will. But I also see how people connect and respond with the work. I see how certain pieces resonate. I see how you can say things to people that words often can't. And, you know, it's not always, right? Not every painting has that magic and that power. Not every person is open enough to receive. But even if it's one random bystander, even if it's, you know, just one person coming through the show at Onésimo this weekend that's going to feel some kind of openness in their heart or in their mind or in their spirit by virtue of like being next to one of my paintings, then I feel successful. I think that, you know, the issue of peace for me is sort of born out of what we're all sort of fundamentally taught as kids, right? We're taught to do unto others as we would like to have done unto us. We're taught to be kind. We're taught to be compassionate, not to be judgmental, all of these things. And again, you get older, you get older, you get older, and life begins to teach you other things. And to try to stay in that lane of just, you know, compassion is not always easy. I mean, right. You heard it here first. Your girl, as much as I try, I have my moments, of course, you know, it's only natural, it's human nature. But I was always driven by this desire to just try to have people understand one another. Like, if it's not about agreeance, right? It's about empathy. It's about going, all right, we're super different, but I hear you, and human to human, I feel you. And I think that that's really born out of one of the most basic things that we're taught as kids, at least what I was taught and how my parents raised me. And so that concept of peace, right, it's super big. It could be really scary. I don't see it. I've never looked at it from a political perspective, or I've never had any sort of these like really bureaucratic attachments to it. To me, it's always been super fundamental, basic lessons in life to just do the best you can, you know, be a kind person. And so when I started using my canvas to talk about racial equality, when I started using my canvas to talk about cultural equality, religious equality, all of these things that, you know, I was also in my own little ways being faced with. So I was seeing, you know, my father feeling ostracized and treated differently for having a thick accent. I was getting laughed at school for bringing, you know, my very fragrant Romanian dishes in my lunchbox instead of a bologna sandwich, you know? And so I think those little things started turning into this bigger concept, which, you know, now as an adult, as a mother, as a wife, as an artist, as a citizen of the world, I understand as being much bigger and a much heavier sort of responsibility to carry on. Always talking about my own personal experiences and you know, things that are not heavy-hearted and kind of lighthearted and simple and whatnot. I also do allocate a lot of my energy to trying to engage people in bigger and deeper thought and conversation. You know, I believe in the power of public art. I believe in the power of art being able to be a tool for mediation and to try to remedy conflict between people. You know, I'm a part of a lot of organizations here that try to gather kids out of different areas, you know, your Latino community and your South Central community, and trying to get them to work together and paint together. You have all these organizations like, you know, that show the power and the therapeutic value of the arts, that there's just no boundary. You know, you can get kids to be a part of a community regardless of their social economic standing, regardless of their skin color, regardless of all of these things, to work together and make something together, to realize that I couldn't have done this without you, you couldn't have done this without me, so together we're actually a better team. That's the kind of messaging that I've been really interested in a lot of the years that I've been working. And so, you know, when the United Nations decided to give me this super glamorous title, the accountability sat even heavier. And since then, it's deepened even more for me. And I know and recognize that I have a duty. I don't take it lightly. I really don't. I don't always paint about really profound issues. Of course not. So much of my work is just personal narrative and storytelling. But there are moments that I really take advantage of my platform and I say, okay, we have something to talk about here. Let's talk.
And you talk about the accountability. It's burdensome sometimes, you say, but it's the only way towards growth. And that would be towards anything, right? You are so passionate about peace and children's initiatives and art and bringing these kids together. And as you're talking about this, Freddie shaking his head, you talked about your lunch from Romania, what it's like to have a different culture. Why you shake your head over
Because
that?
I grew up, my parents were from Puerto Rico and they spoke Spanish. And I grew up in that environment. And English was my second language, even though my sister will argue with you because I graduated from NYU. And she'll say, well, how do you graduate from NYU if you knew only Spanish? And it isn't true. But I had lunch and lunch boxes that were from my cultura, my culture. And I was made fun of. And I got to tell you, you hit a nerve. My father, may he rest in peace, when he was working in construction, I went to work with him at 9 years of age, because I wanted to learn who my father was. He used to leave at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. So I took a summer and I went to work with him. And I was really, really devastated on how people treated him, how they spoke bad about him, because I knew enough of English. And he said to me, don't worry about it. In Spanish, don't worry about it. They can say whatever they want. When I send them the bill and they pay me, I laugh. And that was his cultura. That's the way he did. So the things that you're describing are giving me these flashbacks of everything that occurred to me in my life. But you wear it well. I got to tell you, you wear it well. An ambassador, sometimes you get thrown with curveballs and everything else, but you continue on your merry way. 30 years is a long time.
I know.
I mean, I've been doing this 17 years. I ain't never met anybody do something so creative for 30 years.
But you have a calling. There is no doubt. We always say you've been touched by the gift of God to share your art, to share your voice and authenticity. When people ask you, it's bigger than peace. Not that there's anything bigger than peace, but you touch on so many other aspects. Here you are, a young woman, right? Your generation, you say 9/11 has such a tremendous impact on you. You are the voice of women. You are the voice of immigrants. You are the voice of your generation, not only in peace, but through art and accountability. I don't know how, and you're raising children and you're on Squish, Play-Doh Squish. I don't know how you do it all and continue to share your message, because do you realize how big it is?
She's exhausted. Just reading. She hasn't stopped reading your material.
Because I'm thinking as an empowered woman, which we're all stepping into our power now as women, what that's like for you, because your platform, your sculptures are bigger than life. You are not just in the United States or not just in Asia, you're global, plus the ambassador for peace. And you have to be this role model for your kids, right? You're still mom. How do you balance all of this?
It's not easy, you know. I had this fantasy when I was very little, like 2, and I was like, I'm on my way, figure out perfect balance, right? Like I'm gonna, I know exactly the great artist, and I'm gonna be the great mom, and I'm gonna, be at school, and I'm gonna volunteer, I'm gonna, be around for my friends, I'm gonna be a nice wife, and I'm gonna do all these things, right? And I live in complete sane fantasy. You can do it all, do it well, and do it all at the same time, right? Because that was my thing. Like, I'm gonna do it all at the same time. And then I realized, and I think it was like through like reading mom blogs and kind of my own experience with my daughter, I was like, what's most important? Most important is that when I sit down and play with Barbies that drive me crazy, that I put my phone away, my phone is down for 15 minutes. And I am in Barbie world, and I am the best Barbie player you've ever met. And she's getting dressed, and she's gone to lunch here, and she's going over there. I'm not good at imaginary play. My mom is super great at it with my daughter. I learned the point of this is the following. When for me, compartmentalizing and understanding that I can't do it all well at the same time has been one of the most humbling realizations in the last few years since I've become a mother, because I was so consumed with like doing everything. And it's like, no, when I'm in my studio, I'm checked out. Like, unless the house is burning down, my phone's on D&D. People know, like, the people that need to break through the D&D get through it. Like, whoever needs to like come knock on my studio door, God forbid, they know where to go. But I'm focused. When I'm with my children and we're doing something that is meaningful to them, playing Barbies, doing homework, I'm focused. And I think channeling your energy in that way is what ensures a better performance, what ensures presence, right? And that's what we're all seeking. And that's really the best kind of highest quality form of a relationship, is being present in that moment and really being there here, like fully. And so it took me a couple of years of trying to be this insane, impossible Wonder Woman and going, whoa, what am I doing? No. When have my artist hat on, I'm in the studio, I'm being creative, like that's it. Everyone knows, don't come at me. It's not a good idea, right? Like when I'm at home and we're playing, same thing. If I'm trying to have a dinner with my husband, I do my best to do the same thing. And I think it's sort of recognizing that this balance that society tries to like push on us is also kind of, I don't know, like you can't just do it at the same time all the time. So be good at what you're doing at that moment, you know, like be, whether it's cooking a meal, be there, whatever it may be. You know, motherhood is an incredibly gratifying journey and experience, but it's so hard and it takes a village. And I'm so blessed. You know, I have my parents around the corner. I have my in-laws 10 minutes away. I have childcare, you know, like I'm a very lucky person. And I'm the first to say that I could not do it without all of these incredible units of support that I have. But when I'm there, you better believe that I'm like 100% all in for my kids. And I think that, you know, that's what you try to do when you can. Of course, listen, I'm in a very privileged situation that I've actually created for myself through my own sacrifice. So I don't feel bad for it, but I do recognize that I'm privileged in the sense that I, you know, if I completed a body of work for an exhibition, I can comfortably say, all right, I can be at your school every single day for volunteering for the next week because I don't feel, you know, a deadline coming at me too aggressively. So I can paint at my leisure and I can do this and I can be with you, you know, so I have these opportunities to participate in my kid's life in a really blessed way that I mean, listen, my parents, same thing, right? My parents were leaving, dropping me off at a babysitter's at 6 a.m. And then I saw them at 8 p.m., like if that, for 30 minutes, you know, like after a full days of work, like I see how I feel after a full day of appointments or, you know, whatnot. My dad was, you know, working at a orthotics laboratory, like labor, physical labor, like exhausted. The thing, come home and talk to your kid about cartoons or what happened at school or this or that, you know, and still they try to do the best they can. And I recognize that without those sacrifices, huge, immense sacrifices, without my grandma deciding to stay here and raise me when I was 4 years old, when she came just to visit me, after seeing that I was being raised by a babysitter practically, she's like, oh, hell no, this is not happening. And, you know, she left my grandpa. My uncle was 17 years old at the time, and she stayed here to take care of me. You know, I mean, these are very interconnected things and blessings that I know I don't take for granted. And they're all part of who I am now. And, you know, I feel the same way I feel a duty in my work. I feel a duty to my children and eventually their children, if they decide to have them and whatnot in my community, to pass along that kind of, you know, love and care and consideration. I don't know.
We have
My
some
dogs are going
videos
nuts. I'm
that
so sorry.
I'm gonna have no, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot for women who go through and try to balance everything. And then you have a voice, you have a mission and a purpose and things you need to share and accountability. It's not easy, but your message is tremendous. So I want to we put a video together of some of the art that you shared with us. And so we can talk about some of the pieces, your styles, and of course, your sculptures are larger than life. So I'm going to have them play some of those videos.
Is that queued up?
You have those videos?
Thank you.
All right, let's play some of the art videos from the board so we can go over the art with Alexandra. And if you don't have those queued up, then let's bring Alexandra back over. There she is. So when you saw that video, it brings me to tears. I can't imagine what it was like for you as a teenager to see that, to feel that, and for your parents, right?
Of course. I mean, yeah, listen, I think all of my accolades and all of the opportunities that I've had are so enriching and so meaningful for me. And, you know, I know now being a parent how proud my mom and dad must have been in those moments. And I mean, they tell me all the time, so I feel it. But that particular opportunity to place, you know, a big monumental sculpture in a public setting for me was really, it left a poignant mark. You know, I think it was the beginning of what I see as part of my lifelong journey as an artist, to try to really, you know, have people engage in unexpected ways, to have people have these possible relationships with the art, right? The gallery world and the museum world can often be super isolating and really elitist, and, you know, not the most welcoming all the time, especially to people who aren't super art connoisseurs or don't go to museum openings and gallery exhibitions every weekend. But when you put a sculpture in a park or out in the open air where someone could go walk past on their way to picking up, you know, lunch, or where someone could sit and have their sandwich in between their office hours or whatnot, and they get to interact with art in a natural sort of organic way, then you start changing the language very much. You start really demystifying the art experience for people, and you start making them feel like, oh, I don't have to have a degree. I don't need to have, you know, a fat wallet to be able to experience and love the art. I don't need to, you know whatever fancy art director to be able to interact with a new painting of an artist I like, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's what I think the value of public art is. It really just starts changing the framework and the language with which we have been looking and speaking about art for so long.
Alexandra, we're looking at these videos next to you of your sculptures. You were a painter. To go to these larger than life sculptures, what was even going through your mind that you said, I can create these massive, peaceful, bringing the world together sculptures?
Yeah, I have always loved large scale work, you know, like even this canvas behind me, like this is ever since I was little, I've loved working on really large scale canvas. It's my favorite. I feel most myself. You know, working tight is almost more challenging for me, which is interesting. I do a lot of that as an exercise to teach myself how to be more intimate with my line work and my storytelling and whatnot. But this is where I feel uninhibited and big and loud, and, you know, like the impossible is suddenly possible. And so, you know, when I moved into sculpture, which was a pretty natural transition for me, because I'm always able to see the other side, you know, to my work. So if you're looking at the image behind me, it's this, like, you know, kind of human unicorn. I'm able to immediately visualize the back of it, the sides of it, like there's multi-dimension instantly. So, you know, in beginning to work with clay and you know, multi-dimensional materials, it was a natural transition, right? It was just a matter of learning about the material, learning how to work with it. Like it was more technical stuff that really challenged me at the beginning. And then, you know, when I started realizing, wow, this is an incredible way to connect with people and to make messaging that maybe I can't do the same with painting and color and you know, that kind of form, I was like, all right, let's go big or go home, right? I didn't see another option for me. It was just monumental all the way. And so, especially when you're trying to fit into the most grand of the universe's creations, that's nature, and you're trying to just plug yourself into trees and grass and like all of these incredible, beautiful blessings that we have surrounding us, then you can't stay small, right? So I think, you know, putting out a bronze piece that's 12 feet tall, like, you know, the piece in Singapore at the National Museum, or the piece Love Anatomy that I have here down the street in Beverly Hills in front of City Hall, you know, you have all of this magnificence surrounding you, all of this like extraordinary, like visual reference. The work has to stand in its power, because it's not a matter of competing, but you need to have a presence, and the only way to do that when you're in Mother Nature is to be solid and be strong.
Solid and strong. I feel like that's just a metaphor for women. solid
Yeah,
and
amen.
strong, right? Like you just have to be there. You have to step into it, be there, be empowered, be powerful, do all of it. You're laughing.
I got nothing to say.
But the
It's
people,
true though. It's true, and I gotta
It
tell
is.
you, being on the other side of the fence, men can learn a lot about what's going on around them. If you look at what she does and how she does it, this empowerment woman thing. My mother, to me, was always an empowered woman. My mother ran our house. You know how men say they run their house? Men run around their house. My mother ran the house. And to me, I grew up with a sister and a mom, and I never understood what lack of empowerment meant. I remember I met her 8 years ago, and they explained it to me. And my sister still disagrees with it. She says, no, you just got to make more noise. And you make a lot of noise. I got to tell you, what you have done is an accomplishment. I mean, you could teach a course in the last 30 years of what you've done. I would love to meet your husband because I love to know how he feels about all the things that you do and the success that you've had because you're still grounded, which is amazing.
yeah, how did you stay
Thank you.
grounded? How do you continue to stay grounded through your whole lifetime?
Well, I think in the very beginning, in those formative years, it's all a testament to my parents. Like I was too young and I didn't have the emotional sort of self-control to like gauge, this isn't real life and this could be temporary and, don't take it for granted. I mean, I was a wholesome, good person, obviously, but all of those experiential things are based on the way that they responded to things and the fact that they always kept it super real, like my parents didn't mess around. They were very grateful and appreciative and thought I was extraordinary and all the things, but they were also the first to remind me I was still their child. I still had to behave with respect. I still had, my own responsibilities around the house. I still had, a duty to perform well in school. And so I never, it was just the way it was, I think, when I was young. And I think as I got older, I've been much cyclically with my career. I've had failures. I've had, horrible professional relationships that have been extremely disappointing and heartbreaking. I've had the whole thing like we all do as we're growing and moving through life. And I think those experiences and just constantly being who I am and that I have this incredible opportunity that's not bestowed upon everyone. I just don't take it for granted. I don't take a single day for granted. And I think that's what it is, having and living with really deep gratitude. I'm not always like this. I'm not like some kind of like serene, weird, perfect anomaly of a that sense. But I really do try to move in and out of that practice every single day. And I try to remind myself, and, you bring up my husband, we've been together for almost 20 years. And I think that he's been a part of my life in a very interesting transition. I was in college and then out of school and then, taking this new role as a mother and all of these things and seeing how I've learned to say no and seeing how I seek out relationships with people who I really want to work with. I want to be surrounded by people who align with me, who are like-minded. I'm not interested in living fraudulently in that way. I'm not interested in just doing things because the reward materially or whatever is great or big. Like I want to like what I do and I want to like the people I work with and I want them to feel the same way. I want to have constant respect surrounding me and I want to operate with respect towards other people, whether it's, my gardener because he's outside, that's why my dogs are going crazy, or whether it's, my art dealers. Like I think for me, that's also, again, born out of how I was raised. There was never any kind of like separation. My parents never created, we'd walk down the street and if we saw someone who was begging, like my mom and dad wouldn't go walk the other way, turn the other way. They'd look them in the eye and say, good morning. If you have something to pass along, pass it along. And I think just operating with this like true perception that like people are people, humans are humans. We are all going through our stripes and our journeys. Some of us more than others. Some of our pains is deeper than others. Some of our, triumphs are bigger than others. That's just the way of the world, right? But I think if you just try to move in an understanding that you have to be so grateful for what it is you have and all of the moving parts, because that's what it comes down to. There's just so much. You know, my story is super unique, and I could sit here and make it all about me, but I could never, ever, ever take away the incredible role that my parents have had, the people that I've worked with have had, the collectors who have supported and believed in me from the beginning. You know, my husband, now my children, my friends, like these are all people who have contributed to me and my worldview and my perception and how I try to live my life.
Well, your worldview of peace and inclusion and children and femininity are just spectacular. I kind of wish you were closer. I have to try to go this weekend to meet you in person.
Please.
Because
I'm so excited. You know, we've gotten, sorry to change subject, we've gotten so pummeled. I'm sure you guys have heard, because we love to complain from California. When there's like one day of rain, it's the end of the world. But we got pummeled for like 3 weeks with this insane rain. And now we have this like super cold, I mean, it's freezing. It's like 48 degrees outside. I am so excited to come to Florida. I can't even tell you. I'm packing short sleeves and skirts. I'm ready.
And you're going to have a beautiful weekend also. Before we wrap everything up, you have to tell me about Play-Doh Squished.
Oh, yes. So, you know, I've always kind of, no matter what, I know I'm going to paint and make art for the rest of my life. That's a given. No circumstance will ever take that away from me. And, you know, talking about how long I've been doing this for, a lot of people after the 30-year career retire or they change gears or whatever. Not an option for me, will never happen. But I've always had this really, I don't know, big connection with like performance on this scale, with being on TV, with talking, like, you know, it's always come super naturally to me. And I've always seen myself transitioning into the TV space. And this was like a crazy natural happenstance, how it all took place. But Play-Doh Squished is this amazing, like part obstacle, part like competition sculpture build on Amazon Freebie, and Sarah Hyland's the host. And we basically have 3 teams, 2 kids, 2 adults. Every single episode is themed, and kids are building structures out of Play-Doh. And so, you know, for me, yes, this was a great opportunity to you know, introduce myself into the TV world. But more than anything, this was a great way to bring the arts into people's homes, to bring the arts to kids and be like, oh, like I can be an artist, I can sculpt, I can make things. I mean, we've all had our hands on Play-Doh. It's one of the most amazing materials and one of the most amazing toys, if you will, for a child. Like my kids go all over the house, even before this. And so the show is just so fun because it's encouraging creativity. It's encouraging kids to get their hands dirty again, to make things with their hands, something I think that we've kind of lost sight of in the world of social media and the digital era. It's not a bad thing, but I think, you know, it's important to hold steadfast to some old school sort of approaches. Like I'm a traditionalist in that sense. And so it's been such a fun experience. We filmed 15 episodes over the summer. And I got like really crazy with my hair and my whole look. I kind of went super in theme. I took it as an opportunity to express myself that way. And it's just exciting to see kids work together. Some of them are related. Some of them are just friends. Some of them are, you know, classmates with their teachers, with their parents, with their neighbors, whatever. And just coming together and seeing how the creative process happens. We have a little bit of this like 90s reference to like, all of those like obstacle shows. We have a big slime pool. We have an obstacle course where you get to like find certain things that level you up and you can have access to more materials. I mean, it's just a super fun TV show and it's great. Kids love it. My daughter has been like binge watching it on repeat. I mean, she's my #1 fan, so I get it. But like her classmates love it, you know, and so it's really cool and it's been an exciting experience for me and I'm looking forward to next season.
It's going to be so much fun. It's such a fun show. Sarah Hyland is great. Imagine playing with Play-Doh.
She's awesome.
It's a family interactive show. We just get to get down and dirty. Not that Play-Doh is dirty, but no holds barred. Just have some fun with your kids. That's a great show, right? It goes back to the basics. No cell phones, no computers, just sitting with your kids and having some fun, old-fashioned fun.
That's good stuff.
Give us some more information again, Alexandra, on the event at Onésimo.
So I'll be at Onésimo 2 to 5 and then 2 to 5 again. I might squeeze in a little bit earlier on both days. But I'm there for the few hours and I'm you know, welcoming people to come take a look at, you know, some older pieces, some new pieces. I love to talk about the work and answer questions. And I think it's just a nice way to fill up your weekend with some color and conversation. And, you know, hopefully you leave feeling more spirited and more excited, if nothing else.
Well, meeting you, you have to feel spirited. And last question I have to ask you. When you see other women and teenagers and girls that are trying to step into their authenticity of who they are, their femininity, their voice, their mission, what they have to say, and they feel they can't or they're going to be judged, what's your advice?
You are going to be judged, but you're going to have to learn to not care. You know, you can't do all the things right. No matter what, someone somewhere is going to have some opinion about you that will ultimately be irrelevant. And so then why not just move with grace in doing whatever is fulfilling to you? I mean, again, these are realizations that have taken me many, many years to arrive at. I still have days where I do not feel so empowered. You know, I am a woman that lives in the world of today, and I see the commodification of women happening at every turn. I love clothes. I love beauty. I'm interested in all these things. I've had my own body image issues as an adolescent. I understand, historically speaking, the impact of all of these things, but I've also come to a place where I recognize, you know, like, haters are always going to hate. I generally don't use that set of words, but it honestly really exemplifies it. People who are going to have something undignified to say to will always have that to say to, regardless of what you do. So then, you know, just be you. Just do what is satisfying to you. Don't hurt people along the way, and go for it.
You know, it's like they say, everything you learned in kindergarten, we should do as adults.
I'm telling you, I'm
right?
and I'm reminded of it every single day with all of the episodes comes home from school with. I'm like, damn, like I know some 40-year-olds who could really use this lesson, you know? So absolutely.
You know, be nice to each other, share your crayons, sit next to a friend during lunch, all the simple things in life that somehow get muddied and judged, and we change, but life should be like kindergarten.
You should. It would make life a whole lot easier.
Alexandra Nikita,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so very much for your time, and I hope to see you both at the gallery this weekend.
We
and
hope to see you this
Yeah,
weekend.
we'll be there.
we can catch up then again.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
you
very
too.
much. Have a beautiful day.
You
Thank
as well.
you.
Safe trip.
Take care of each other. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was interesting.
And to her PR firm and Allison at Relevant Communications, thank you so much for planning all of this, for sending us all the film footage, all the pictures. There is so much more that we didn't even get to cover and squeeze into this interview.
And where's the event Saturday and Sunday, 2
the
to 5?
event Saturday? The event Meet the Author Saturday from 2 to 5 and Sunday 256 Worth Avenue. It is Onesimo Fine Art Gallery. You can get more information at onesimofineart.com.
Very cool. They're cool people. Very
And
nice lady.
The event is open to the public. It is complimentary. Her art will be there. Her sculptures will be there. Things are for purchase, for sale, or even just for discussion. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, so get out and have some fun and meet the artists.
When are you going to go, Saturday or Sunday? Because we have Pub at the Hub on
I'm
Saturday.
thinking, I don't know, maybe Sunday
Because you got to
afternoon.
be there at 6. Maybe Sunday, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe Sunday.
That might be nice.
A nice way to spread the weekend. All about art. Right? We're starting off Saturday at the Hub with
Well,
art.
the art is fantastic, but I want to talk to the artist. I think
I mean, 37 years old, to be doing everything she's doing from a young age, can't be easy to have such a voice and such presence to do what you have to do.
good stuff, I got to tell you.
So
That was good. Nice interview.
thank you. All right, everyone, check it out. Still tickets are available for Saturday Pub at the Hub at Space of Mind Center. Check that out on Eventbrite or yourccp.com, or join us this weekend up at Onesimo Fine Art Gallery in Palm Beach. A lot of good stuff.
I'm exhausted.
Tune
I
in
need a
tonight.
nap.
We've got Spiritually Speaking with Sarah from 6:30 until 9 p.m. right here at the studio. Yes, you.
I'm exhausted.
For all your questions, you'll be able to give her a call right here at the studio. Anything you want to know personally or professionally, it all keeps growing is all I can tell you.
I'm exhausted.
So have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.